Everyone, it's Dane again. Today we're on part 2 of our NESRGB install for a top loader unit. Let's jump right into it.
Okay, so I have already gone in and wetted the joints, just added some solder to the PPU, which is up the front here. And let's go ahead and desolder that now. A little close.
Yeah, let's see if we can finish this side. All right, we're back. I actually swapped out my camera because my other one was freezing like constantly. I don't know why all of a sudden my C920 just totally crapped out on me. So I swapped it out for a C922 that I happen to have lying around. Hopefully this will do better. I haven't really used one before, so hopefully the video quality is still good. But anyway, let's get back to desoldering this PPU. I did actually go ahead and totally clean out my desoldering gun. Okay, let's go. It seems like it is just going to clog up every single time. Yeah, it's definitely leaking solder. But yeah, my vacuum is just malfunctioning. I'm gonna have to mess with it some more. Okay, I finished desoldering the PPU here. I think I finally got my vacuum working consistently, but I don't know, it's been giving me a hard time today, but it's all right. Sometimes you just have to kind of figure it out as you go. So not too bad. Seems like most of those ought to be loose now. So I'm going to use my pliers. We're going to test these. I'm not going to wiggle them real hard, just enough to make sure they're loose. That one seems like it is still being held in place. I think I'm going to use my chip grabber here. I think this is getting pulled. It seems pretty good. Not quite yet. Looks like there's a couple things down on this side, up here towards the top that are kind of holding it in place. Yeah, that's close. Oh, there you go. All right, cool. There's our PPU removed. Finally, man, that was a struggle for me today. My tools weren't working, my camera wasn't working, so I'm really happy to finally be moving now on this. You know, sometimes projects do go that way, you know, where you just kind of have to fight through it. And, you know, I found that when stuff is going that way, be agile. You know, try to figure out your way around things, you know. So for me today, I wrestled with that camera and wrestled with that camera, couldn't get it to play nice. So finally I was like, you know, I've got another one upstairs, let's grab that and try that instead. And so far that's working out okay. And of course, that sort of thing isn't always the answer. Sometimes you don't have an extra one. But in this case today, that worked for me. So, you know, sometimes you have to go around. Sometimes you can't bully things into submission, you know, and with anytime you're removing a chip like this, you know, I was also being careful really not to hit the board very hard. You know, I don't want to mess up any of these traces on the board here. And even then, you know, the desoldering vacuum is an awesome tool, but you do have to be careful with it. You know, you can even see where on the ground planes here, a little bit of the solder mask got pulled up. And it's not going to hurt anything, but you know, you do want to be as quick as you can be with that solder vacuum. Yeah, I really don't know why this was all wrestling with me so much today, but we're getting there now. All right, looking good. All of our traces are good, nothing's hurt. All right, so PPU is pulled, that is good to go. I'm gonna set that aside for now. I think the next thing we want to do actually is pull our old RF module and replace it with the LaserBear RGB kit. So we're basically going to pull all the screws that are left on here. And thanks for bearing with me on this one today. This one's been rough for me. Again, I like to show that stuff too. I think that showing how you figure out when stuff doesn't go the way you want is really important, because that is going to happen when you're wrenching on this stuff. There is no way around it. These things are ancient, and sometimes stuff is going to give you a hard time. One of the main things, though, especially removing a PPU, is just not to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and putting pressure on the board. That can end up ruining traces, and then you have to try to bodge it with bodge wires and stuff, and which granted will work. And but if you don't want to hurt your board, you have to kind of take her easy. All right, so this is our RF module here. So it looks like we have to remove these screws, and then it looks like there's 3 solder points that we need to take care of. These corner screws are a little longer than I expected. All right, so those are the 2 screws holding this down. And looks like we just need to pull the RF module. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3 points that are holding that in place. So let's go ahead and reflow those joints. There's a big ground plane right there, so that's gonna take a minute to warm up. And there as well. Let's go ahead and pull these 2 points, and then I might have to hit that last one with desoldering braid. And that point is actually too big to fit inside my desoldering tip, so I just have to work the point next to it, like so. Come back to the other side. Yeah, the rest of that I think is going to have to be done with solder wick. Okay, solder vacuum is working now. Let's go ahead and hit that with some desoldering braid. Start with a fresh piece. And that is really not wanting to move for me, so I'm going to reflow that just a little bit fresh, see if I can't get that to pull. I'm trying not to get too much in there. That might actually be okay. Okay, none of that is wanting to work right, so I'm going to reflow this side for both of them, both those points, and see if I can't get solder vacuum take care of the difference. Okay, looks like there might be a little bit of cleanup just on the edge here. There we go, it just popped. So, let's see if that wants to wiggle free yet. Looks like this power jack also has to come out. Let's get that one while we're in here. This is all pretty good and hot back here from heating up that big ground plane, so. Looks like that kind of half fell through. Let's go ahead and reflow this pad just a bit. It's going to be a pain. Let's see if I can't maybe push that through. It's just not quite broken free. Alright, well, I'm learning all kinds of things on this one today. There we go. You can quite tell what that is right there. Alright, that's all good. Let's see if we can get that RF module off there. We're close. Interesting. So this all looks totally free. I can see all of the pins moving when I move the unit, but it seems that there's something else kind of keeping that in place. I don't see anything else hooked up. Okay, I think I'm going to go look this one up and just see if there's something that isn't obvious. Okay, I think I know what the culprit is. Looks like these three pins need to be unsoldered. So let's go ahead and reflow them. Okay, now let's see. Oh, look at that. It fell right out. So it was these three pins right here. That was what was keeping that in place. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a learning experience. I never had to pull that power module before to get that back unit off there. But yeah, not too bad. So that kind of fits there like so, and that one fits through it. That. So it's all kind of one unit, and you can see the 3 pins here, 3 big pins holding the RF module in, as well as the 2 power pins that hold your power connector into place. So, all right, cool. I'm learning a lot as I go here. So I think the next thing that we're gonna do is solder our PPU slot into place. So this would be our PPU connector. You can see that the notch is on this end, and we want that facing the outside of the board. Making progress. All right, let's solder our PPU socket into place. So actually that is kind of in their tight form already, so I don't even have to hold that with my other hand. Let's go ahead and get one bit of this soldered into place. There we go. It's opposite corner, check. Yeah, that looks good. We're sitting flush. So now we can go ahead and drag solder the rest of this into place. All right, that looks pretty good. Maybe get the camera to focus. Oh, we thought about it for a minute. Now, anyway, moving on. Do the other side. I can always show you when it's all done. Yeah, if anybody has recommendations for a better webcam, I am all ears. As yeah, that C920 quit working, and the 922 doesn't seem to autofocus very well. Really, I'd like something with a manual like focus lever or ring that I could just zoom in physically while I'm working. Okay, that all looks pretty good. Go ahead and clean up a bit. Nice purple. All right, there is our PPU socket. No bridges, nice and clean. Okay, so next, let's look at our laser bear multi-app. So this is our barrel connector for our power, which will slot right into that spot that we removed before. And then our our RGB board will fit right in like so. So I think what I'm probably going to want to do, and you can see on the back that, that is how that will sit. So I think what I want to do first is actually just pull this RGB board out to make it easier to work on. Probably solder this barrel connector into place first, and then I'll put this 3D printed bracket on last. I think what's going to be tricky is trying to make sure that that is all lined up perfectly. Actually, you know what I could do? Well, I don't really want to be taking screws in and out of this a lot. So I'm just going to hold that in place there and do a quick spot weld. Try to hold that power connector into place, just like that. Yeah, that was pretty good. Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect. All right, great. All right, get some alcohol on there. Clean all that up. Okay, there's our barrel connector for power. That is perfect. And so we're ready to install. That will fit in there just like that. So next, I need to remove my SNES multi. Okay, there we go. Definitely do not want to lose that screw. Oh, I see. So there's a bottom bracket there. Interesting. So this is actually a two-piece construction. It's together like that. All right, cool. All right, we will set our SNES multi aside for now. So the next thing we want to do is build our adapter board. So for that, we are going to need to install these pin headers into here and then place the adapter board in. Interesting, they sent square pin headers there. I hope these fit into place. Guess we'll find out. There, got all that Captain tape off. Kind of seems like those wouldn't really want to fit down in there. So we might want to use these ones for the big board itself. Because yeah, it should fit through those holes, no problem. Okay. All right, so grab our circular pin headers. There's one set and our second set. Okay, so I believe, yep, we want to set it this way, and we want this set of pins that say motherboard. So that should sit there just like that. We will use our square pin headers in these holes. And I'm going to double check my reference just to be sure. Yep, that is correct. That is how we want to do that. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and solder our adapter board. Making sure everything is sitting flush. It is. Let's go ahead and weld the rest in. Our bridge there. There's one side, looks pretty good. Yeah, nice, good, clean welds. Okay. More flux. Yeah, this is my first time ever having to build one of these adapter boards. Kind of interesting. Yeah, looks good. There is our adapter board. All right, a little bit of board cleanup. Looks to me like the next step will be to pull this and then put our pin headers into place. Although honestly, we may just want to set these down in. Yeah, I think that's how we want to do this. All right, so we're going to want to set our pin headers into place. Place our NESRGB board above and weld those headers in first. So So I believe that basically we're going to want to weld it into place just like that, pull it, and then weld our pin headers into place. That looks correct to me. I'm going to check my reference, which I'm just looking at the installation guide that was written by Tim Worthington for this. Yeah, that is right. Okay, so we're going to do that next. Let's see here. Let's get a little more flux. All right, that looks nice and clean. Let's go ahead and do our other side. So now we have our pin headers in our board, and it looks like I got a little bit of solder in this position here. I'm gonna need to pull that out. There we go. All right, so we're looking solid there. So I think the next step is going to be to basically pull our adapter board here, which I just kind of have to rock out because that's really in there tight. Careful when you pull it because you can do what I just did and bend your pins. So I'm going to have to straighten those back out. I was really trying not to do that, but all right, that should be good. So that sat like so. Our adapter board sat like this. So we basically just want to set our adapter board down like this, nice and flush, and solder it into place. So we're going to want to start over here on this side. I think that'll be the easiest way to go about doing it. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't have been able to solder my PPU in, so gotta watch your order of operations here, I guess. So we will do that next to get our PPU soldered into place. So our PPU is gonna fit in like this. I'm trying to decide if I want to chop down some of those legs a little bit, just to make sure that height isn't gonna be an issue. I don't actually think it's gonna be an issue, but yeah, I guess that'll save me a little bit of height. I don't think it's worth it. Let's go ahead and just solder this into place. So we're going to start on this side. So I'm trying to keep it from having too much of an angle there, but it looks like I kind of got it in at an angle anyway. I'm going to pull that back out. Alright, there we go. The reason I went in and messed with that is to try to keep that parallel. Alright, so I'm realizing that this kit came with an extra socket. So actually, instead of soldering the PPU directly to the board the way we would in a front loader, we can just put an extra socket in and then just slide this into place. I don't think there's any particular reason why you would or wouldn't need to do that, but that is just how the thing comes. So that is how I'm going to install it for this one. I think you'd be fine, by the way, just hardwiring your PPU right in. But I'm going to install it the way the instructions tell me to on this one. I didn't quite get all that solder out of there. That's all right. What we'll do is just heat that up. Darn it, did my chip not drop all the way through? There we go. Set our PPU aside because we're going to put a socket in place. Just like that. Okay. right, there's one side. Good. All right, now for the other. And those pin headers do make it a little bit difficult to get in there. Just have to kind of come at it from an angle. There we go, looking solid. All right, let's clean up our work there. And we can socket in our PPU. Okay, so now the PPU is just a matter of plugging it right in. There we go. Looks like I got a little bit of schmutz on top of the PPU. Let's clean that up. Okay, so we can kind of set that aside there. This is just how this project is going today. Measure twice, cut one stain, or in my case, cut a whole bunch of times and measure never, because I got to pull this adapter board back off. I've got it in there upside down. So that's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get my desoldering vacuum, heat it back up, and pull this adapter board off. Son of a gun. Okay, as you can see, I have my two boards back apart. That is a big job. Getting this thing back apart. So, word to the wise, make sure when you're doing this that your board is not popping out the side like this. We want it underneath, like so. That's how that's supposed to go in there. Well, what can I say? I am learning. This is my first one of these. If that's, the worst of it, I'll be happy. Usually I don't have any issues with this sort of deal, but I got a camera on. So that's good. That's when that stuff's gonna pop up, which is fine. And it's good. I figure, hey, if everything goes perfectly, you don't learn a whole heck of a lot. But figuring out how to get this board back apart was a big, big job. So the thing is, because it has these square pin headers, the connections it makes through here are just really, really tight. So I had to do a combination of using my desoldering station, my braid, and then mechanical, where I just used my pliers and wiggled the legs in there. Now you don't have a lot of room on these, so you don't actually have a lot of wiggle room, but doing all that, I was able to make sure I got everything loose, so I could then install this the correct way. So that is going to snap back in there like so. That is how we want our board to look. And I'm actually going to clean the top of that off. It's just looking a little gunky, not real bad or anything, but can't hurt. Can't hurt to keep it clean. I like to keep it all nice and tidy while I'm working. I'm just kind of doing a quick inspection, making sure that when I pulled that back apart, I didn't mess up any traces or anything. I don't see any issues. Yep, aside from a couple of small scratches on the board, we are all set. All right, let's get that welded into place. Okay, let's get this wrapped, huh? Okay. All right, there's one side, nice and clean. All right, there we go. So now our NESRGB board is correct. So when you're done, that is what your RGB board plus your adapter board should look like. Nice and clean.